Hi everyone, welcome to another Traklife interview session with artist Frettz. My name is Sarah and I will be interviewing him and just getting to know about what he does and his music. So let's get started.
Thank you for having me.
So what inspired you to start making music?
Well, since I was young, I've always played guitar and I've liked to teach myself little bits of piano. And coming up, I used to really want to make beats and stuff out of the stuff I'd compose with piano and guitar. And from there, I went to college in the UK to just learn production. And from there, I just wanted to make my own lyrics for them as well, since the instrumentals weren't doing enough for me.
Great. So what is your creative process like?
Well, my studio's at home and I like to do everything myself. So I usually start with a melody, whether I compose it or not. Sometimes I sample other people's work. Um, and then from there, I tend to add drums after. And after the drums, I usually get into the writing process. And that's pretty much how it goes. I also engineer my own work too.
That's great. So do you find that there are a lot of advantages to having a home studio?
Yes, I do, although there may be some disadvantages as I sometimes just do nothing in the studio because I live here. It's kind of easy to do that. And but the advantages are is that I do everything myself and I don't necessarily have to rely on others, but in the end of the day to grow I do collaborate with others.
Yeah,
So it's a lot easier for me.
that's great. So who are your biggest influences?
Well, my influences range from a lot of different genres. Of course, I'm into Biggie, Park, all of them. I really like J. Cole, X. My parents put me on like stuff like Queen when I was younger, Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson. So a kind of a mixed bag.
Yeah, that's great. I definitely have a super wide range of genres that I listen to as well, so it's just more
Yeah,
versatility.
it helps like just trying to get different backgrounds and different environments, just to different influences, just to put into my music, just so I can kind of push the sound I'm working on already. So it
That's
works.
great. So how do you go about writing a song?
Well, usually after creating the instrumental or beat or whatever, I usually sit down and listen to it for a while. And usually the instrumental, if it's good enough, it will give me a certain emotion. And from that emotion, I'll put that emotion into my own lyrics. And hopefully the lyrics I put together are almost like an answer to the question that my beat is. At least that's the kind of goal I kind of set to myself for every song. So yeah.
That's awesome. I just love hearing about like every artist seems to have such a unique songwriting
Yeah,
tradition
everyone has their
or
own little
practice.
like nick to it as well.
Yeah, something that no one else does, which is super cool. So, how would you describe your music?
Well, I I find that my music ranges from a lot of different moods. So a lot of my music is chill and relaxing and almost I don't know how to put it. Not It's almost melancholy. A lot of it, but I do also work on a lot of different sounds, trying to push uh, party vibe, especially with drill and certain like the new sounds that are coming out.
Yeah, I feel
Can
like
I do that?
well, I feel like so many artists are kind of breaking out of that preconceived notion that you need to stick with one sound or one
Yeah,
genre. They're exploring so many different sounds, and I think when that is done right, it's just perfect and it flows so well together despite being different sounds. And I just think that that's like very admirable for an artist, and it's
yeah.
kind of the new frontier in terms of the music industry.
It's very it's very welcoming for artists nowadays because a lot of artists nowadays are brave enough to do any sort of sound they want, and I think that's really good for
Yeah,
the environment of the music.
for sure. So what about your music do you consider unconventional?
Well, I like I said earlier, I do it all myself. So sometimes I might take too long to finish a certain project, and sometimes I over criticize myself as well, especially in the mixing and mastering department. I I do overthink it a lot, and sometimes I end up putting out a song, and then weeks later I'm like, oh, I should have done this differently or something. But in the end of the day, um, that's still an advantage at the same time. But it's yeah, it's kind of unconventional as well.
Yeah, I think just the fact that you do everything yourself, it's like everything that you put out comes uniquely from you. There's
Yeah.
hardly any other influences there. So you know that what you're listening to is your music and your piece of.
Although for some songs I do have other influences coming in. Like for example, my brother helps me a lot with writing often. He's been writing since he was young, and we also collaborate on a lot of songs as well. So a lot of my stuff he kind of puts his input on and like influences as well. So
Awesome.
I credit him on everything as well, just because he's my brother, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it?
keeping it in the family. That's great. So, what are your ambitions as a songwriter and musician from here?
Well, from now on, I really want to work on my singles. I do have certain projects on the way, but I really like to work on the singles for now because that tends to get that tends to be the best route for someone in at my level. Yeah,
Mhm.
I would like to put out larger projects once I'm more established, but I do have lots of things like that on the way. I'm just not there yet.
That's great. I mean, I definitely agree. Like a single is really the way to cement yourself
Mm.
and kind of make a name for yourself. And
And in today's era, it's almost the best way to get as much out in a healthy way.
mhm,
Because a lot of people might not listen to like a 40-minute project
yeah,
because they don't have the time for that every day. Only like the people that are really into are already established and invested in you will do that. So I'll need to get to that level to then do that.
yeah. So this next question kind of piggybacks off the previous one, but what are your plans for any future releases?
Well, I I've got a song releasing tomorrow actually,
Oh, great.
and it's called "Not Gonna Lie." It's a nice track. Basically, it's a collaboration with me and a friend in America called Magova.
Oh,
He's one of my first collaborations I ever had. So I've worked on a song with him before called My Way, and if you were to listen to the two, I really think you can see the improvement in both of us lyrically and in the beat itself. It's just like a giant improvement. It's been about a year as well, so it's a nice way
so
to do it.
so how are you able to collaborate with someone in a different country or who's across an entire ocean for that matter?
Surprisingly, it went really well. Shout out to Magova. He's really helped with like just pushing me as an artist as well. Shout out everything he's doing as well. He's um he's really easy to work with because maybe I don't know, maybe I've just managed to prepare these tracks for him very well, but he's managed to put in really good verses and just really good work for to bring my work up there as well. It's really just it's a pleasure to work with him.
That's great. That's such a great sign of collaboration is, when
Mm.
two people can complement each other and elevate each other's art. That's awesome.
I actually have two collaborators with me here that are just behind it, just cheering me on.
Okay, so my last and final question is what does your music say about you?
Well, I feel like my music says a lot about me of my nature and how I am as a person. Whether or not it's in the lyrics, in the feeling itself of the music, I feel like a lot of people can get the vibe of that and get the just kind of understand me as a person as well from the music. Um, it's a hard question. This.
Yeah, I mean definitely. I feel like it's hard to put into words, so you put it into.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost like you kind of know it once you listen to it. You kind of you get it's almost like a certain feeling you get after you listen to a certain artist and their catalog. You kind of understand them over time.
Yeah. And I feel like so many artists create music that they think the general population will like, but they don't necessarily connect with it. I feel like
Yes.
so important for an artist to connect with their own music and actually want to share that music with others.
Yeah, I've found myself in that sort of predicament a couple times. But usually when I've started doing that, I can't even get to the recording process yet because it's just that forced.
Mhm.
Um, but I do try to make music just as to how I feel because sometimes I'll make a really like really in your face, really energetic song, and then moments later I'm just like I'm kind of bored of this. I just want to make something really chilled and kind of the completely different vibe. But sometimes it's kind of what it is as a musician, just going through these different sounds.
That's great. It's really like great to hear that you're just like so passionate about the work that you do and you're putting out music that you want to put out.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview today. I really loved hearing from you and just hearing about your process, and I know our viewers will too. So yeah, if there's anything else you would like to say, I'll end the recording.
Thank you for having me so much. And stream, I'm not gonna lie, it's out on the 16th. That is the 15th, 6 p.m. EST on the 16th. This might be out after, so but it's a really nice track. I hope you guys. What can I redo that?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
So thank you. My message. Wait, what was the question again?
If there's anything else you wanted to say.
Thank you so much for having me, and go stream. Not gonna lie. Shout out Magova. Shout out Jay Splits, my brother. He's really put in the work to get me to where I am. So thank you to him.
Well, thank you so much.